Welcome back to my daily Tuesday briefing. I hope everyone's doing lovely. Let's get straight to our business. So, chaired by Speaker Kembosnam Tempela, the ninth and the last day of 17th Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile's fourth session convened at 9:30 as per schedule. The last session covered the deliberation on the reports of the Department of Information and International Relations, also called Chidelewu. Secondly, the deliberation on the reports of the Department of Health, Chidelewu. Then the third reading of the legislative procedure on the rules and regulations of housing in a state of Tibetan settlements. Also an official resolution by Kasha to extend gratitude to the Indian leadership of the service rendered to Tibetan children through Central Tibetan School Administration, CTSA, and finally an official resolution in regards to continued operation of Khanjo Pencho Shepchukang. The business of the last day commenced with report presentation and assessment of the Department of Information and International Relations. It's concise 2021 to 2022 annual report. Kalu Nonstromala tabled the department's report, followed by the presentation of the Standing Committee's review of the detailed annual report of the department, which was submitted about a month back to the Parliament. With a motion of debate, the House began its deliberation session. So the questions from the members of the House ranged from facilitation of the weekend Tibetan schools outside India, Nepal, Bhutan, also appreciation of the department's Mandarin language section, conducting research and report presentation, as well as encouraging Kasha on expansion of its work, necessity of more Tibet advocacy and lobby campaigns from the department, also on the lack of active involvement of the department in the WPCT conference recently held at DC, queries on the work of Tibet Action Institute, and many more. And for each one of them, the Kalu provided her due answers. So, as per the list of business, Sikum Pemba Tsinula, the incumbent Kalu of Department of Health, Chudelewu, presented the department's concise annual 2021 to 2022's report, followed by the presentation of the Standing Committee's review of the detailed annual report. After providing answers to the review report, the general deliberation session of the House began. So the concerns and the questions from the members of the House included the impact of zero COVID policy in China-occupied Tibet, resulting in further suppression and human rights violations of Tibetans in Tibet. We also discussed about mental health condition, general hygiene concerns, drug abuse, Tibetan Medicare system project, after effect of the COVID pandemic, and many other health-related issues. After the completion of individual departmental deliberations, the session moved on to the legislative procedures. So the third reading happened, followed by its adoption on the proposed amendment to the rules and regulations for the housing and estate of Tibetan settlements, which were adopted with a majority vote. So now the adopted bills will be submitted to the Honorable Sikyong for his assent. After the assent, it then legally becomes part of the rules and regulations for the housing and estate of Tibetan settlements. Then an official resolution to extend gratitude to the Indian government, particularly the Central Tibetan School Administration, was tabled by Honorable Sikyong, which was passed unanimously in the House. The CTSA for decades has provided extensive support of quality modern education to generations of Tibetan children in India, while preserving and promoting Tibet's culture and heritage. The resolution explicitly thanked all the former directors and staff at CTSA and all the former teachers and staff who had served at various Central Tibetan schools, CSA CST under the CTSA education, which provided education to hundreds of young Tibetans. So presently, the school has been transferred to Sambuddha Tibetan School Society, STSS, under the Department of Education of CTA. Finally, as per the list of business, an official resolution instructing Kasha to continue the operation of Kanjong Pencho Shapchukang, Kanjong Development Finance Private Limited, was tabled. The resolution commented on the extensive task undertaken by the review committee on the financial scope and the risks faced by Kanjong Pencho Shapchukang. And the resolution further advised Kasha to endeavor to overcome the challenges currently faced by Kanjong Pencho Shapchukang. An amendment to the resolution was tabled by Sigum Pemba Tsinla, the incumbent Kalu of Department of Finance. So the resolution specifies and mentions that Kanjong Pencho Shapchukang should be run as an independent company, autonomous from the direct control of CTA and supervision of CTA, as per the recommendations of the review committee. So for this purpose, an ad hoc committee of 5 will be formed, consisting of 3 chitus appointed by the speakers and 2 members appointed by Kasha. So the committee will prepare the foundation for Kanjong Pencho Shapchukang to function as an autonomous non-banking finance company, and a report will be submitted on its future course of action to the 5th session, that's the March budget session of the Parliament. The amended resolution was passed with a majority vote in the House. So Consoktum of the Parliamentary Secretariat read out the leave of absence of the session before the Honourable Speaker presented his closing remarks and announced the conclusion of the 17th Tibetan Parliament-in-Exile's 4th session. So the session adjourned sine die at 6:15 p.m. This is it for this time. We'll get back to you with my Thursday briefing on March. Take care, everyone, and I hope everyone stays healthy and happy. I'll see you on March 10. That's it.